Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Trading with JP. I'm your host JP, and I was planning on doing a couple different price predictions today, but with such a crazy last couple days in the market, I think the big question that everybody wants to talk about right now is what's going on with Bitcoin. So we had a pretty big crash. And everybody's trying to figure out, was this expected? Should I be selling? Is it going to get back to about $70,000? And can it even break new highs? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we dive into the charts, do me a favor, smash that like button. It really does help me out, and it goes a long ways to make sure that my videos are seen all over the crypto space community within YouTube. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss any other future price predictions. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into some charts. All right, now that we've got TradingView pulled up and we are looking at Bitcoin, so this is pretty much the same thing that we were looking at last week, right? When we talked about Bitcoin. If you haven't seen the video already, be sure to check it out. In a nutshell, it pretty much said that it was going to get to about $74,000. And guys, my thoughts are exactly the same. They haven't changed at all. So I have already gone ahead and put in our resistance lines. So a little bit later on, if you don't know how to do that, I will show you how to do that. But so let's initially just talk about what I'm seeing right now. So obviously we're coming off of three weeks. So we're looking at the weekly chart right now. So these are week-long periods that we have been in the red. So obviously we have had a huge drawback from our previous all-time high. But that is to be expected, guys. That's to be expected. So, one of the first things I want to talk about here real fast is the waves of a bull run, right? So we have our impulse wave followed by a drawback, okay? And then this is where, mainstream investors, and, different hedge funds and stuff like that, all of that starts coming in here, creating a new high. And then we see another pullback. And then finally, fear of missing out. All these last minute people start driving the price up where we get to our last all-time high. And then we start seeing the price decline. And when you look at just this area right here, so you kind of have a shoulder, a head and neck, and then a shoulder. So they call it, a head and shoulders pattern. So that's exactly what I'm seeing right here for Bitcoin right now. So this was the last bull run, guys. And then here was our drawdown. It consolidated in this area right here. And then here was our impulse. All right, there's our impulse. And it was followed by a drawback. And you can see that we bounced right off of this line beautifully. In fact, that's how we're going to set up our fib extension to kind of realize where we may find levels of resistance. All right, that's where we place that. So it bounces, comes back down, and now we start going into wave 3, right? So this was wave 1, wave 2, now we're going into wave 3, all right? And look at that, bounced beautifully at the top of this wave, okay? This is all projections. When you do your fib, if I go ahead and get rid of this, whoops, if I go ahead and get rid of that, and so I use my trend-based fib extension, all right? And so we're gonna go from the low to the high, down to the end of the body of this retracement, okay? And we can see that this number, again, beautifully right here at this 1% level, 100% level, the price, about $64,000. Now, again, it got a little bit higher than that, but that comes and goes, right? So as we go down, we're seeing this retracement, okay, and we almost lost it. And this is where I think people are a little bit fearful still, is because when it was all the way down here, it was creating this head and shoulders, right? So if we were kind of predicted, if we predict that it went all the way down here, it could go back up and then back down again. So right, we would see something like, it goes down and then it goes up, and then it goes down farther, and we kind of have this, the shoulders, the neck, and imagine if there's a little circle, right here, put that, a little circle right here, and you have your body, right? So that's one of the patterns that people look for to spot a reversal. So that could potentially be in play, but I want to talk about the psychology of what I'm seeing here for real fast, okay? So actually, let's put that back on there. All right, so what I'm looking at is, so the bears, they pushed it all the way down to this resistance level, and the bull said, "Oh hell no, we're not gonna lose this. We're not cashing in yet." And so they brought the price all the way back up here, right? Okay, and now
and now we're fighting to reclaim, this 0.382 level. As soon as we break through that, guys, I think we're going to jump up. We're probably going to see some resistance here around 56,000. If we can break that, we're shooting all the way back up to about $64,000. And guys, we have our higher highs right here. So, we have high number 1, high number 2, high number 3 is coming, okay? This is, again, all part of the wave. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Before we start seeing that price come back down, it's going to come back to this resistance level before it goes back down again. And so here we have that head and shoulders pattern is what we're forecasting to come. So I do believe that this is going to be probably the last leg of this bull run. I think that this is probably the last chance for you to enter, but I do want to say, this is for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. I definitely want you to do your homework and invest at your own risk. This is by no means any financial advice. This is just the way I predict, or my prediction of what I think is going to happen. So again, if we were to enter the market, right now at this $50,000 mark, I would have a stop loss probably somewhere down below this level where we previously were at this first resistance level of negative 0.236. So I'd have my stop loss at about $38,000. Our entry points right here at about 50,500, and I would probably set my first take profit. My guess would probably be 64,290, sell half of my position, and then see if it gets all the way up to about this 72, 73, maybe up to 75 as a high altogether. But I don't necessarily seeing it going too much higher. If it did break over to this last 1.618 level, we're looking at about $77,000. I think that would be probably the cap of where it's going to go. But again, I said it last video, I think $75,000 has a pretty high psychological value. So I think we're going to find a lot of resistance there, and I'm not sure that we can break it. So if it were me, I'd probably try to sell, 74,000, 74,500, something like that, just to make sure that sell did indeed initiate before the sell off and into the bear market. So the last thing that I want to do is be greedy. So let's actually talk about that on why. So if you don't look at the fear and greed index, this is something that's pretty cool and kind of help give you an idea of maybe when to enter the market. So yesterday when we were taking a look at this, it was actually 20. So you can see, yesterday extreme fear in 25. We've jumped up 10 points now. We're still in this fearful range, but again, there was reason to fear a little bit. We were coming off potentially seeing this head and shoulders pattern, but we're seeing this increase. If we look right here at the RSI, we're starting to see that momentum start going back up again. Right now we're about that 50 mark. So I think we liquidated a nice healthy amount there, and we have plenty of room to continue this last leg before we do go down into some kind of bear run more than likely. So as this continues to keep getting high, when I want to buy when people are fearful, right? That probably means that the price is at one of its lowest that it's going to go. People are afraid to potentially enter the market, and we want to sell somewhere before extreme greed, right? The last thing that we want to do is miss out on the opportunity to close a position, see the price go backwards, and end up being negative or losing all of that money and just closing out the position. So again, guys, this is what I am looking at for Bitcoin. I personally do not think that there's any reason to panic. This was a healthy sell-off. We see that in the nature of the markets. I think as long as we can break above this 0.382 level, which is about $51,000, which is around where we've been hovering all day today, I think as soon as we break that, we are going to see liftoff, guys. We're going to see it back to $65,000 in no time, and potentially by the end of the year, like I said, somewhere between probably 72 and 77,000, but my guess is going to be $74,000. That's where I'm going to put my my take profits at. All right, so that's again my 2 cents on the video. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done it already, please do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notifications. It really does help me out, and you're not going to want to miss any other future price predictions. Also, if you have any comments on predictions that you would like to see, please be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to get to them as quickly as possible. All right, thanks again for watching, guys. Take care.